Let's go. Welcome, all my fellow SDS members. You already know the vibes. I already see you guys acting up in the chat. You'll love to see it. Dropping SDS in the chat if you're vibing with your boy. Hopefully, y'all had a fantastic weekend. We got a lot to talk about today, but first of all, can we talk about how we are single digits days away from 49ers training camp? You smell that? Oh, that smells like football to me, baby. That smells like football to me. You already know the vibes. We got a special announcement today as well. You know what to do, though. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Shout out all the SDS tapping in. Shout out all the homies. We see you guys in the chat. Good to see all the fam. Yep, we got all we're good. We got all the training camp tickets. Everything's taken care of. So hopefully I will see some of the SDS at training camp. Good to see all the homies here. But of course, for today, we are going to talk about why this conversation around the quarterback, why this continued ongoing back and forth. Is it Jimmy? Is it Trey? It's confirmed at this point that Trey Lance is going to be quarterback one, and we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about all those types of things. We're going to be talking about what we need to look for training camp, but we also have some special announcements coming this week, and I'm pretty excited about it. As you guys know, on this particular platform, we like to do player interviews. So we got some players coming back into the fold as we get ready for our training camp primers. A lot of the content this week is going to be about training camp, getting prepared for training camp. So, what better way to get excited about the upcoming training camp than having actual 49ers players join us to talk about all things San Francisco 49ers. So if you guys want to know who's coming on the show, smash that like button and we'll get to it. So far this week, be prepared. I believe we are going to have two 49ers starters join us this week to talk about training camp. I'm going to announce one today, and then I will announce one probably tomorrow. Wait, what's today? Today's Monday. I'll probably announce the second player on Wednesday, actually. So as of right now, we got two 49ers starters slated, locked in, ready to go to talk to all of us about 49ers football. So we will be breaking one of those down, who that's going to be, and what we're going to be talking about today. And yes, the ginger beard will be in Santa Clara for training camp all 11 days. So I look forward to seeing my fellow SDS in the building. Again, if you guys are at training camp and you see this ginger beard walk by, you say, "What's good?" Throw up an SDS, say, "What's cracking?" Would love to see all the gang in the building. Shout out all the SDS hopping in here. Let's go. You see all the Brad gang in the building. All right. You guys want to know? You guys want to know who's coming on? You guys want to know who's coming on? Hey, you know the vibes. We got to play it up a little bit. We got to play it up a little bit. Hey, we got to pay Debo too. We got to pay Debo too. So for tomorrow, at 1:30, so our typical time in which we go live, we will be having on Mike McGlinchey. So, starting right tackle for the San Francisco 49ers tomorrow at 1:30. will be joining us. And as you guys know, we've been wondering how Big Mike's been doing. When we look at the 49ers offensive line, he is a big hinging point for the success of the San Francisco 49ers. So we will be bringing on Mike McGlinchey, starting right tackle for the San Francisco 49ers tomorrow at 1:30. He's going to give us some updates. We've been wondering how Big Mike's doing. He's coming back off of a pretty severe injury where we have been wondering, how is he doing? Is he going to be ready to go? All those good things. So we will be getting him on. And so shout out to any of you guys who will be on that particular stream. I'm going to need my mod squad. All right. Now, this is going to be a message to the mod squad. This is going to be how we conduct our business here tomorrow. So let's get some of the administration work out of the way, and just want to make sure that we are aligned on the mod squad, because I'm going to need your help. You know how this goes. I'm going to need your help. So this is a perfect example right here. As we get Mike McGlinchey onto the show tomorrow, if you see one of these types of comments right here, if you see one of these types of comments, it's an instant timeout. Instant timeout, booted from the live. So I want to ensure that the mod squad and we are all on the same page. You know the vibes. We keep the good energy. We keep the good vibes. We are here to bring on a starter for the San Francisco 49ers to talk about his progression back, what he's doing, all those types of things. You see one of these types of comments in the chat, instant timeout. They come back, do it twice. That's a block. Okay. I want to ensure all the mod squad is on point tomorrow, because you know the vibes. We're going to get this. We already got it. We already got it. So this is what we're going to do. You see one of these comments, you see any slander, instant timeout. Not even just a, hey, keep it. Nah, instant timeout. They getting booted. And then if they come back, because we'll give them one opportunity. They come back, blocked. That's how we're working. So I just want to make sure all my blue wrenches, all the mod squad out there, we are on point. We are on the same page, because we are here to talk football. We are here to learn about the progression and get a look in to the San Francisco 49ers from a starter's perspective. So none of this, you know the vibes. They dropped that. They gone. So shout out the mod squad. Appreciate all you guys. You guys are going to be active tomorrow, but I'm very excited because this will be the second time that I've had an opportunity to interview Mike McGlinchey. He's a great dude, great interview, and I'm really excited about just where are we at, Mike? Like, because let's face it, we have a lot of questions on that offensive line. We got a lot of questions about that offensive line. So we want to ensure and get a little update on Mike McGlinchey, how he's feeling, where he's going to be at for training camp, all those types of things. All right. So appreciate all the mod squad in here. I see all the mod squad already taking notes. Again, you love to see it. That's why we got the squad, bro. Squad's undefeated. So shout out the mod squad, all my blue wrenches out there. You know the vibes. Jesse Wade says, Walker's college fund deposit. Appreciate you, my guy. Love, light prayers sent to the entire Graham family. Appreciate you, Jesse and wifey. Shout out to you guys. You guys are legends. I appreciate all the vibes that you guys send my way. You guys are in almost every one of these lives. So you are appreciated. And I want to make that known. Oh, the Mike McGlinchey redemption story arc incoming. They're not ready. They're not ready, Gav. They're not ready. But you know the vibes. We are going to be doing that. I haven't seen Harris around here in a while. What's good, Harris? Harris smells the football. He's like, ooh, I smell the football. But he knows the vibes. Get them likes up. Shout out Wessie W's all day in the chat. All right, I got you. Here you go. Shout out Sam the God. Shout out everyone. So really excited. So that's one. We're gonna have Mike McGlinchey on tomorrow at 1:30. And Thursday, as of right now, we are slated to have another 49ers starter on. So that's two. So we're gonna have two this week. And I'm really excited for both of these conversations because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Anytime you can talk to a 49ers player that are willing to give their time, huge. So we are going to be respectful. We understand what all the things that Mike's been up against. So that's what I ask of the SDS, of our crew. We're going to have more people hop in here, but we're looking really, really forward to all of it. All of it. So shout out all the squad. Very excited for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's going to be a good time. And that's the announcement. So we're going to have the McGlinchey on, and I'm very excited about that. Also, let's get into the topic at hand because this has been an ongoing topic. It's been the forever topic. It's been the thing that we've talked about all offseason because obviously, as we know, Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the roster. So what do you guys feel? Give me a percentage? Give me a percentage chance that Jimmy Garoppolo starts on the San Francisco 49ers this year. Again, I just want to get a baseline of where we're all at. And what you guys are thinking, because what is the percentage that Jimmy Garoppolo actually starts, is on the roster, all those types of things. And I want to get a baseline of the group today. So right off the bat, 0. So you're saying there's a chance, Jason? You're saying there's a chance? Worldwide says 15. Jason Williams says 10%, 0%, 0% from AP. And Gav, Dylan's calling out below 10%. Wyatt's dropping to 3%. Let's see, 0, 20%, 0%, 1%. So you get the vibes. This is kind of where we're at this point. Oh, we got a 40%. There you go. That's the highest one that we've got so far. Cheyenne's dropping 15. Lake City Fresh is dropping 7. We got a 30%. We got, okay, this is very true. I understand this 100%. You got to leave a little bit of wiggle room because, hey, you never know what Kyle's going to do. The 49ers have talked about it time in and time again that they will keep Jimmy. He's a starting caliber quarterback. They do not let these guys go for nothing. But this is, I think, what we're up against is I believe if the 49ers cannot facilitate a trade, I believe if the 49ers can't do something in regard to a roster move with Jimmy Garoppolo, because I'll tell you this, I believe at this current state in the offseason, the way that we're hearing players talk about Trey Lance, I believe he's 100% the starter. I don't really think there's any room for Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's not because they don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not because of that. We recognize that when you trade all those assets for a rookie quarterback to come in at a certain point, they understand that the clock started ticking the second they were on the clock at 3. And that clock has now went a full calendar year where they didn't get a ton of return based on all the first round picks that were given up. We understand that the pressure has been mounting. And so I don't think this is a move because they don't like Jimmy. They don't think Jimmy can win. None of that. Like, it's really none of that. It really comes down to the franchise made a massive investment. And you saw what Deshaun Watson got in regards to a trade package, very similar to what Trey Lance, what the 49ers traded to get from 12 to 3. So the clock is ticking. You have a rookie quarterback on a rookie pay scale. You got to take advantage of that. You got to take advantage of him on his rookie number. You got to build around him and try to do things like we've seen in the past, like the Seattle Seahawks when Russell Wilson's winning Super Bowls and things like that before his first major payday. So that's what's at play. I think the 49ers do like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the 49ers would bring Jimmy Garoppolo back if circumstances were different, but we understand where everything currently lies. So you're starting to hear players talk about it in that same exact light. And so I believe as we head into training camp coming on up, it is going to be 100% Trey Lance's job. So let's see, what's this say? Corey says, you really don't think Jimmy won't ask for a release and the Niners won't grant that his wish? I think Jimmy's going to ask for a release 100%. 100%. Like if they can't facilitate a trade, if they can't get something done, I think Jimmy will ask for a release. And it's going to be up to the 49ers to see if they can get anything. We heard from Albert Breer last week that Jimmy's camp is open to negotiate with any team directly, essentially saying the 49ers is a wide open door policy for trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. Anyone can reach out to Don Yee and Jimmy Garoppolo's representatives to facilitate a trade, to facilitate a restructured deal. One of the things that Albert Breer went on to say that was a little bit different between the Baker Mayfield situation is Baker Mayfield was on a fully guaranteed contract. The thing with Jimmy is he's not fully guaranteed. So there is a potential opportunity for someone to come in and rework his deal in order to facilitate a trade where no one's really out any guaranteed money. And by all accounts, it really feels like the 49ers aren't going to eat any money in this situation. So the positives are is it does feel like there is some wiggle room in the contract if a team wants to renegotiate or rework a number, potentially take money and shift it to incentive-based earnings, like based on playing time, based on wins, all those types of things. So that's not out of the discussion yet. So, but I think if we get to a certain point, where it's really dragging out, then I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to ask for a release. But again, to bring it back around, let's listen to some of the things that guys like Robbie Gould are talking about. You guys might have seen this earlier. I posted this on the channel. This is from Matt Mayoko of 49ers Talk podcast, a phenomenal podcast. I suggest you listen for these little nuggets like this. Mayoko was able to get a hold of Robbie at the recent kind of pro-am event that they had up in Lake Tahoe. And this is what Robbie Gould had to say about the situation. And again, if you can't hear or you don't get any audio, let me know in the chat. But this is what Robbie Gould had to say. Again, 49ers Talk podcast with Matt Mayoko.
It's going to be Trey Lance at quarterback. Being around the team, seeing him, observing him, watching him, conversing with him. What do you think? Is a 22-year-old Trey Lance ready?
Yeah, he's a lot more mature than people think and or know. You know, as a young kid, I think I started playing the NFL when he was 3. So makes me feel a little bit older than normal. But I think just the ability for him to be able to run, I think he looks more comfortable in the offense. I think he's a great leader in the locker room. You know, obviously we all love Jimmy and, you know, it's a business, but at the end of the day, like they're making decisions to make the team the best team that they can. And I think you're going to see Trey Lance take the helm and be ready and more prepared. And you got a chance to, you know, sit behind Jimmy and learn last year, which I think is helpful because he just didn't get thrown in the fire. And when he did play, he played pretty well.
All right. So hopefully you guys were able to hear that all right. But he said it. He said it. And I do believe. Oh, boy. Go away. Okay. I do believe that this team, you have to have these kind of internal conversations. I do believe there is a level of getting everyone on the same page. And when you have let's face it, he's a kicker, right? And depending on who you talk to, some kickers don't matter, but this kicker is a different kicker. This kicker is a leader in the locker room. Robbie Gould is someone that is highly respected in that locker room, in that organization. 49ers have proven it with the contract that they've given him. He is a guy, one of the guys in that locker room, and he listened to what he is saying. He is saying that he expects Trey Lance to lead the San Francisco 49ers next season. So this has been kind of a continuous thing whenever we've heard some of these players talk about it. So just so we are kind of, again, getting back on the same page, you still have analysts out there like Emmanuel Acho saying that Trey Lance should sit essentially another year. The best thing for Trey is to sit, all that type of stuff. So I think we kind of understand where it is headed. The page is turning towards Trey Lance, and I think as fans, as people who are just trying to understand the team better, trying to understand like this weird situation where Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the roster. It's been a talking point of his movement or things like that. I think we can, again, wrap our minds around the clarity that we keep hearing. Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback this year. Now, just like Joey said earlier, there's a 5% chance. Like, you never know. You just never know what Kyle, John actually got, what tricks they got up their sleeves, because they are savants when it comes to media manipulation and getting us talking about certain things and getting all that stuff going. But I do believe that based on what you're hearing from the players, what you're hearing from everyone in the organization, what Kyle, what John, what Jimmy and his camp have said, it does feel like we don't really got to speculate too much about this anymore. Now, obviously, anything can happen in the NFL. Never say never in the NFL. Jimmy is technically still on the roster. However, I think we can all just wrap our heads around the fact that Trey Lance will be the starter next year. So that's the biggest thing here, is like we don't got to argue about it anymore. I really do think that as we get into training camp, all these things, it is going to be a great spot to start camp, to get everything moving in the right direction. Someone said Deebo Samuel is back in San Francisco. It does appear so, according to his story. So as you can see, players are starting to get ready. Smell it, everyone. Big, deep breath at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you smell that football? I can't wait, man. I'm so tired of talking about who this and what that, and we're going to get to training camp here soon. We're going to see pads flying. Media said you're going to be there at the 30th. I'm going to be there every day. So there are 11 days of training camp open to the public. I will be there every single day. And we will be doing our thing. We're going to be getting content. We're going to be reporting. And most importantly, And I want to make this very abundantly clear. The most important thing for me that I will be doing there at training camp is one, yeah, we get content, we get all the videos and all that stuff, and we share it with everyone. But the main thing that I am going to training camp for is to evaluate. I am so excited to get my eyeballs on some football and do some evaluation, meaning scouting, assessment, determinations of where these players are and how they've progressed. I have a baseline understanding of where these guys were at last year because I was at training camp for the majority of the time last year. Now heading into my second camp, I have a complete understanding of the structure of practice, of what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how we can see how that all translates. Perfect example right here from Joey. He says, I can't wait for Alfredo updates. Alfredo Gutierrez got 3 reps in training camp last year. Let me say that again. When you're evaluating guys, they got to be able to get reps to be able to evaluate. Alfredo only had 3. 2 of them were penalties. He had 1 real rep last year. He had 1 real rep. So one of the things, we're going to be looking for Alfredo. We're going to be seeing what does that year 1 versus year 2 progression look like? Because we saw him. I saw him, saw a little bit of him, and we're going to see, is Alfredo in the mix? Is he actually challenging potentially for a roster spot after 1 full year on the practice squad, being able to be on the scout team? I guarantee you he learned a lot. So guys like that might not be huge names, might not be the Trey Lance, the Deebo Samuels of the world, but these are all the things that we're going to be looking at. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to break down the offensive line. Very excited to assess the progress of guys like McGlinchey, how Brendo looks, how Aaron Banks looks. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that I will be watching at training camp because I came on this channel last year. And I told you guys point blank period. I said Aaron Banks is not challenging Daniel Brunskill for that right guard position, at least on what I saw from training camp. I was watching them. I watched Banks, almost every rep of Banks last year, because that was someone that you spend a second round draft pick. Is he going to be challenging Brunskill for the starting position? I came on here and told you last training camp that Aaron Banks is not challenging Daniel Brunskill for the starting position. We talked about that. So those are the types of things that we're going to be looking for. Who's challenging? We've talked about Talanoa Hufanga and like the way he looked at training camp. We talked about guys like Jonas Griffith, who ended up getting traded to the Broncos for a conditional round draft pick and became a full-time starter with the Broncos last year and played phenomenally well. And if he keeps it up, Jonas Griffith is going to be a name that NFL people know about because he's that good of a middle linebacker. We talked about Ambry Thomas last year. We talked about some of the tight ends. We've talked about the running backs. We talked about the quarterback position. So I'm very excited to get back to camp. We have the baseline understanding of what we saw last year. Now we get to compare and contrast to what we see this year. So training camp is going to be a lot of fun. Training camp's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a ton of analysis, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just excited because we've been talking about a lot. Oh, yeah, we're going to get you the Spencer Burford updates as well. We're going to get you the Spencer Burford updates. We're going to get you the Nick Sakel updates. We're going to get you the Jason Poe updates. We're going to be getting you all those boys up front, Donovan West, everything. So very, very excited. Again, I've talked about it. That back end, like we assume, right, going into camp, that the offensive line is going to be Trent, Banks, Brendel, Brunskill, and McGlinchey. Well, I think we're going to find out tomorrow what McGlinchey's looking like, how he's feeling. Maybe he can let us a little bit in on maybe some of like the plan to get him back. I don't know if McGlinchey is going to be out there right away. Um, I don't. They might, because we've seen it with other players where if they have a little bit of an injury, coming off an injury, they will kind of wait for camp to go a little bit and then slowly acclimate them in. So we've seen that process before. So don't be surprised if potentially McGlinchey is slowly acclimated into training camp. We've seen that before. We've seen it from other players, whether it was Nick Bosa coming back from injury. Nick Bosa, ladies and gentlemen, did not play any 11 on 11 reps all of training camp. He did not play any. He was always off to the side, always working by himself, always working on technique because he was coming off a severe injury. So now we see, okay, well, do we see more Nick Bosa in 11 on 11 periods? What does that look like? Do we see Javon Kinlaw in a lot more 11 on 11 periods? So very excited. Other things that we're going to be looking for, we're going to be looking at that D-line depth. Who's going to make the cut? Someone's going to get cut that is going to be really good. So we got to see how that works out. There's a lot of who's going to be that sixth wide receiver. My eyes are going to be glued to the sixth wide receiver competition. I think it's an underrated situation that we have going. I think we got to do this as its own episode. This is a great question from Vivian, but I think this is a type of question that we do our whole episode on, like a whole live. We'll do an entire live on predictions for training camp. We're going to do 53-man roster predictions, way too early 53-man roster predictions, all that stuff. So we are going to go in depth, all of it. And of course, if you guys want to see something, you want to alert me to it, like you got right here. We got Callie saying, give us some reports on Drake Jackson. I will give you all the reports on Drake Jackson. I will tell you honestly what I see. So very, very excited from it. Jago Crazy says, been going through some tough things these past couple months. Still much love from me, SDS. Jago Crazy, you're a legend out here. Hopefully things are going well. Of course, you know the whole SDS is riding with you. We'll send you all the good vibes that you need. Again, this is a spot. If you need a couple good vibes, just for people to say, hey, we got your back, and we're sending all the good energy. Anything that we can do, we got your back, man. We understand we all got lives outside of all this fandom and stuff like that can get real. And so we appreciate you, man. Hopefully things are well. And of course, no pressure or anything, man. Anytime you could pop in, say what's good, we always appreciate it. This is a good one. I don't know if Justin's in here. I don't know. No, there he is. Yep, there he is. right on time. You might actually. I think, I don't know. It might be Trey Sermon versus TDP versus Jordan Mason. Shout out Justin. Justin got the Jordan Mason jersey. That 41 looks pretty clean. I ain't gonna lie. Mason looks good in that 41. So Trey Sermon, TDP versus also throw in Jordan Mason. Let's go. Oh, we already at 108 already. Let's go. Shout out to everyone who's liking up the stream. Hey, you know the vibes, Travis. We got football coming back, baby. We got football coming back. Everyone's getting hyped. We're going to have Mike McGlinchey on the show tomorrow. We got a starting 49ers offensive lineman going to give us a little bit of update on what he's been up to. Obviously, we're wondering, we're wondering. This channel, we're pro Mike McGlinchey here. I don't gotta say it. I don't gotta say it, but I'll say it. We are pro Mike McGlinchey here. So very happy for Mike to give us his time and give us some updates on how he's feeling, because obviously we are wondering how Big Mike's doing. So very excited about that. And I know you guys know Mike's going to be able to give us a ton of great insight on a lot of what the team's going through. So very, very excited about that. And just to see how he's feeling, how he's doing, how are the mentals, how are the how's the leg feeling, how's everything feeling, how we doing? Because we love our Mike McGlinchey around here. We don't accept Mike McGlinchey's slander at all, just so you know. And we already updated the mod squad. Mod squad already on the same page, so we're good to go. I agree with Hawk Hater. We're going to be watching for that nickel cornerback spot. Is it going to be Darqueze Dennard? Is a late add to the 2021 season. Guy picked up off the streets, former first-round draft pick, Darqueze Dennard. Can he stick and hold that nickel cornerback spot? Are we going to see Samuel Womack break through? What about Diamador Lenore? A lot of people are sleeping on Demo. I get why, but I don't know if we should. I think it's a little bit premature. To sleep on Diamador Lenore. I don't know about you. I think it is. He played a decent amount of snaps last year. They, might have been here or there, but he was pretty involved. How does he look year 1 to year 2? Very excited to see that. So gonna be a lot of fun stuff out at training camp. It's gonna be fire. I can't wait. We're getting there, baby. We are getting there. You need a Tabor Pepper report. Dude, Tabor Pepper is a flawless practice player. Special teams is always working off to the far field. They're like diagonal far field from where everyone sits. So it's hard to get a real good read on them. But they're typically pretty far. But yeah, man. Notorious Gav says, don't sleep on Ray McCloud. Absolutely not. Does Leon O'Neal make the 53-man roster? This is, again, going to be yet another position battle that we're going to be watching for. Not a lot of people are talking about it. Not a lot of people are talking about Leon O'Neal in the sense of Tarvarius Moore. I don't think Tarvarius Moore is like locked. I feel pretty confident in saying it's Jimmy Ward, Talanoa Hufanga, and George Odom. 3 locks. I think the 49ers carry 4 safeties. But who's going to be the 4th? I don't know if Tarvarius Moore is done enough as a former 3rd-round draft pick for the 49ers to make him a lock, which means that if you get someone coming into camp who's just lighting it up, is maybe younger, maybe cheaper, like a Leon O'Neal. Leon is feisty. And he's ready to compete. And if you put a guy ready to compete against a guy who's fighting for his NFL life, who knows? Who knows what the outcome of that is? I think Leon has an absolute shot. Again, Quantrez Knight, Taylor Hawkins. There's a decent amount of fire undrafted free agents that could come in and make potential roster spots. Sue, this is hilarious. She says, "My husband hates that we stole Ray McCloud. He's a Steeler fan. I would hate that too because Ray McCloud went to the perfect spot. Literally, Ray McCloud went to the ultimate spot for him and for the 49ers. Like, they couldn't have gotten a more dynamic player for cheap than Ray McCloud. Like, Ray McCloud genuinely has an opportunity to do damage with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, maybe not in the sense of volume, but when he gets his hands on the ball, he's a playmaker. So if you get him the ball in space, whether it's as a returner, whether it's a wide receiver, potentially even wide back, maybe you get a little wide back action, he's dynamic. When we talk about dynamic, we haven't had a dynamic returner like this in a long time. So not only were the 49ers able to get a dynamic returner, but all right, someone said bring up some film. I'm going to see if I can bring up something that won't get me clapped. All right, I don't think this one will get me clapped. So again, I like to always show reference. Always is better than just me explaining it. But let's get a little bit of Ray McCloud hype going. And I guarantee you, Ray is going to look like a baller at training camp. Guarantee you. There's going to be just Ray McCloud, like, oh, wow, Ray McCloud is really showing out. Like, who's Ray McCloud? Like, we didn't expect Ray McCloud to do it. Like, Ray is going to be one of those guys. He is going to be one of those guys at training camp where you're going to get a lot of buzz. Remember that Trent Sherfield buzz? It might be a little bit different. The reason why Trent Sherfield got a lot of buzz was because of Trent Sherfield's ability to and connection with Trey Lance. I think Ray McCloud's hype is going to come solely from Ray McCloud. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be connection based, but when Ray McCloud gets his hands on the ball and he's out there on the field, you're going to hear that. You're going to be at training camp. You're going to be, ooh, oh. You're going to hear a lot about that from Ray McCloud because, again, he's one of these guys that when you get him the football, he does the rest. He is a playmaker. Hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities with the Steelers. He obviously had a role, but I really like the fit for him with the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to be a guy I think that you're going to get a lot of hype out of training camp about. You're going to hear like, oh, he made this guy miss. He juked this guy out his cleats. Ray McCloud caught a tunnel screen, went 80 yards for a touchdown in 11 on 11s. I feel like you're going to hear a lot of that. So I'm excited. Hey, if I was a Steeler fan and my wife was a 49er fan, yeah, I'd be upset too. I would be upset too. Because Ray got you hear it all the time now. I love that it's just a widely accepted term, but Ray got that dog in him. Ray got that dog in him. So, like, he's that kind of guy. He got that dog. So, very excited about that. Oh, what's this? Oh, Ray. All right, I got to show you this on Ray. As someone wanted to see some return clips, I want to show you this clip real quick. Because you know me. You block, I'm hyped. All right, see the circle? We got Ray over there. You see the circle? Jerry Hughes got his hand in the dirt, number 55, great defensive player for the Bills. Watch this block. Watch this block. And again, might not be the best or overpowered, but look at the effort from Ray here. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Look at Ray. All right. See him? 49ers do this all the time. They did this a ton with Brandon Ayuk. The amount of times Brandon Ayuk had a down block on a defensive end was a lot. This is good effort right here. And ultimately is able to keep Hughes off of the running back. That's a hard block, especially for a guy of Ray McCloud's stature. Okay, Ray. I love the fit. I love the fit. Had no intentions of going crazy on Ray McCloud clips, but yeah, I'm really excited. Someone said Danny Gray earlier. I'm excited to see what Danny Gray looks like. Again, you guys know Danny Gray, big fan of the draft selection. He was a draft crush of mine. So to see Danny Gray's progression, very excited. I'm ready to see Danny Gray's speed. That's really what I am looking for. I'm looking for to see, can Danny Gray be that addition to Brandon Ayuk? You know what I mean? Can Danny Gray be that guy that really helps take pressure off of Brandon Ayuk when it comes to running the deep clear out routes? Because I think the difference is people stopped really caring about Brandon Ayuk running his deep routes because they never really threw it to him. So I think what you're going to get in this particular situation is you are going to get an opportunity where Trey's going to throw that ball. If you get an opening, I really do think you're going to be able to take advantage of that speed. So it's a lot of fun, man. I'm trying to find some return stuff, but I can't really find anything that's any good. Can't really find anything that's any good. In the sense of I need all 22. I can't show broadcast. But I'm not seeing any all 22 that I could pull. But if you want to go look for yourself, Ray McCloud, he's like that. He's like that. Do me a favor. What we got like 240 in here. Smash that like button. Shout out all the SDS lurkers too. Shout out all the SDS lurkers. If you in here, you know the vibe. Smash that like button. Get this thing to the moon, because you know why? Football's why. Football's almost here. Very excited. Niner by Nature says, Brad, what about Tay Martin and Jordan Mason? Tay Martin is my sleeper. I'm calling it now. I've been saying it. Tay Martin is my sleeper to make this roster. Undrafted free agent. A lot of guys can make the roster ahead of him. There is an opportunity where a world that exists where he doesn't. But he's my sleeper. Stamping it. Tay Martin is my sleeper to make it as the sixth wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm talking active roster. He's going to be in a great battle for that number 6 spot. He's going to be going up against guys like Marcus Johnson. I think as recently with Tennessee, who's a big-bodied wide receiver who moves really well. He can catch at the point of attack. He can execute back shoulder. He's a good route runner. Just good balance, everything that you want in a kind of overall wide receiver. You got guys like Taysir Mack, undrafted free agent. You got guys like Malik Turner. going to be competing. You've got some good talent there at wide receiver. Tay Martin is my guy. Calling it now. Tay Martin's my guy. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Not a guarantee, but Tay Martin's my guy. A lot of people like Jordan Mason. A lot of people like Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason absolutely has an opportunity to make this roster. Oh, yeah, we have 151 already. Shout out the squad. Shout out the squad. Smash that like button if you haven't already. It sounds like we're up to 150. Shout out to all the SDS, all that good stuff. I've talked about this before. I'm not concerned yet. I'll be concerned if we get into training camp and things aren't looking like you're not seeing the continuity. You're seeing a lot of breakdowns up front. Then that's when I'll come on here and I'll be like, all right, guys, like, I said it all off season. I'm not concerned just because we just don't know. Like, I watched Brendel last year at training camp, but I wasn't like watching him like that because he was running with the twos and Banks was running with the twos. So I was typically watching Banks. But I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at this current state. But like I said, that could change if we get into training camp and Kinlaw, Eric Armstead, Kevin Givens, Hassan Ridgeway are really taking it to the interior. Then yeah, we'll reevaluate. But as it stands right now, I do have faith in Jake Brendel. Aaron Banks, I'm really excited to see what his maturation process looks like and what those two will look like together, because to be fair, those two have a lot of experience playing together. So I think it will work well. Obviously, they're both being elevated to the starting offensive line at the same time. They've worked together a lot in the past, whether it was a second team unit in all of training camp and preseason or with scout team throughout the year. So there's continuity there. I talk about offensive line continuity all the time. So Aaron Banks and Jake Brendel have a good understanding of how each other plays, where each other needs to pick up the slack, how to help in certain situations. So I think that there's some positivity to be taken away from that. And so when both those guys get elevated to the starting offensive line, I think they will be able to continue to build that continuity. So like I said, until they give me a reason to be concerned, I'm not concerned. I think that, Aaron Banks, his tape at college was phenomenal. And although, yeah, he did it, but I talk about this all the time too. Transition from college offensive line to like pro offensive line, training camp, like training camp is not a place where you want to develop. That was one of the biggest things that I learned last year. Training camp is not a place where you want to develop because you don't get a lot of reps and there's not a ton of practices. Again, what are we talking about? We're talking about like 11, 12, 13 training camp practices, and then preseason starts. Training camp is not a place where you want to develop. You don't want to go into training camp being ill-prepared, hoping to grasp more at training camp. Of course, you're going to grasp more at training camp doing the reps, but you got to be as prepared as possible heading into training camp, because 11 practices, 12, 13 practices, that is not a lot. I can go back to when I was playing. I practiced all summer. Yeah, starting from spring ball. You started in spring ball, and then you did pretty much walk through practices, not walk through, but against air practices all the way up until camp. And then camp, you get the pads, and then you got felt like 3 or 4 weeks of padded practices before you got into actual games. So I felt like for me going into a year, like I was like, oh, I'm prepared. Oh, because I could rely on practice and I could do everything I needed to in practice. And then going and watching training camp, they just don't have the time. They don't have the ability, the reps, the it's completely different. Everything is shortened due to the CBA. So the reps in training camp, they're like gold. Like that's why I reference Alfredo like only getting 3 team reps. Like reps are gold, and when you get your reps, you have to take advantage and you have to do it there, because if you don't do it in these team periods, they're not going to give you another opportunity. Like you have to do it. You got to take advantage of it. You got to take advantage of these reps coming up in training camp. You can't go into training camp being like, "Oh, I'll figure it out in training camp." No, you got to figure it out before you get to training camp and put it into practice in training camp. You have to execute in training camp. Training camp is not about development from the way I perceived it last year. For me, training camp, of course there's always going to be a level of development, but like I'm talking about like nitty-gritty development. I'm talking about like we got to get in there, we got to retool some technique. We got to switch some things up. That's not the spot. You got to do that all off season and be prepared and ready to go in training camp. So as of right now, not overly concerned. Not overly concerned about the offensive line. However, pretty excited about it. Harry said, "Did you see Montana play in those days? You look young." No, I didn't. I was 6 years old the last time the 49ers won a Super Bowl. That's how, I guess that would give you an idea of my age. I was 6 years old the last time the 49ers won a Super Bowl. It's been a long time. The drought is heavy. Knees weaks, arms are heavy. Mom spaghetti? No, I don't know. But we need a Super Bowl. Can this year be the year? I don't know. It was funny. I posed a poll today on YouTube. Um, will Trey Lance be an MVP candidate? A lot of people didn't like the question. That's okay. Because as I've said on this particular channel, to expect Trey Lance to be MVP candidate, top 5, to expect it is, I feel like, a little bit of a setup for failure. Doesn't mean that's out of a range of the outcomes that is possible, which is why the question is posed. But I don't know. Could he? Be interesting. You would assume in a Trey Lance led 49ers with all the weapons in the Kyle Shanahan scheme, anything's possible. But I think if we're looking at a successful season for Trey Lance, we're looking at like top 15. If he's in the top 20 of quarterbacks, I would say better towards like a top 15 quarterback. I think the 49ers are winning games. Oh, we got another fly in here. I'm about to schmirk this boy. Other things that we're going to be looking for, we're going to be looking Jason Verrett. I don't think it's going to be Mosley versus Verrett, to be honest with you. I feel like Mosley's pretty locked in as the starter. I think for Jason Verrett, biggest thing that we're going to be looking for, and again, I don't think Jason Verrett theoretically is going to get a ton of run in training camp. Again, we'll see. I'm just going back to like previous training camps that I've watched and been a part of. Verrett really hasn't participated a whole lot. And so obviously we understand with Verrett and kind of some of the injury concerns. I don't know if he'll be available or participating. But again, something we'll be looking for, something we'll be monitoring. And if you got a healthy Jason Verrett back there with Charvarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley, that's a good sign for the San Francisco 49ers. That is a good sign for the San Francisco 49ers. So a lot to look for at training camp. A lot of things to keep an eye on. A lot of position battles, a lot of evaluation to be taken and put into play. like there's going to be a lot. You're going to have to you guys are going to have to figure out who. There's difference between reporting and evaluation, right? You can report like this guy's not here, or this guy's off to the side, or this, that, or the other thing. If you can evaluate, I believe that separates you a little bit. So I guess you guys know I'm very confident in my ability to evaluate football at any level. So, and under any context, you guys understand I have a context for everything. I have a context for individual drills. I have a context for 9-on-7. I have a context for 11-on-11. I have a context for 11-on-11 with no pads. I have a context for 11-on-11 with pads. I have a context for it all. So I feel like I feel very confident in my ability to evaluate what is going on from a player to player standpoint. So very excited about that. Very excited to put that back. We haven't done an evaluation since pre-draft, since the draft process, since we were grinding college tape. So I'm very excited to work those muscles again with training camp coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Chris Royal says MVP, no, could push for a Pro Bowl. I agree with that. I think that if we're talking Trey Lance Pro Bowl, if we're talking about Pro Bowler Trey Lance after his first full season as a starter, that's a W. That's a W. And we're pulling receipts. I hope everyone's been keeping track of who's been talking this offseason, because oh boy, when it's time to pull receipts, it's time to pull receipts. But how about let's do this. Drop some bold predictions. I want to see some of your guys' bold predictions. Drop some of your bold predictions, whether it's training camp, whether it's guys winning spots in training camp, whether it's season predictions. I just want to see what you guys have to say about this. Justin says Brandon Ayuk is that 10,000 plus 10,000 odds for offensive player of the year on Bovada. Hey, if you hit on that one, you're bringing in some money. You're bringing in some money. But that would be wild. Could you imagine? Throw like a rack on that and he wins it. It's gonna be crazy. Let's see. EJ says, Brad, do you think Juwan Jennings' role grows? I think his role is solidified. I don't know if it grows in the sense of volume, but I think it is solidified. I think he solidifies his importance to the offense. And when I say that, that's what I mean, like big time. When you're bringing this fly is killing me. When you bring like 3 wide receivers onto the field, I think he's going to be on the field a lot. When it comes to third down conversion, when it comes to red zone, I think Juwan Jennings is going to be a lock for the red zone. He's just, I'm starting to call him the red zone nightmare. Like, that's what I think Juwan Jennings is going to be. I think he's going to be a red zone nightmare. I'm just going to make the name up now. That's what I'm going to be calling him. Juwan Jennings is the red zone nightmare, I think, for the San Francisco 49ers, because let's face it, a lot of attention is going to go to Deebo Samuel. A lot of attention is going to go to George Kittle. A lot of attention is going to go to Brandon Ayuk, which leaves Juwan Jennings in an opportunistic type role where he can take advantage of lesser players. And he's got the size. So Trey Lance feels like a more willing person to throw it up, maybe get a little bit more contested catch involved, maybe a little bit more 50-50 balls. And I think Juwan Jennings is going to be someone who absolutely benefits from that. Absolutely benefits from that. We got a bold prediction from Niners Worldwide. Elijah Mitchell, 1,200 plus yards. I think he's absolutely capable Obviously, the only thing is that's going to be stopping Elijah Mitchell is health and workload. But you give Elijah the opportunity, you give him the carries, like we're talking over 230 carries. Like, yeah, he should be hitting 1,200 easy. Oh, this is a bold prediction. Debo finally gets signed this week. Well, I mean, you guys saw he's in San Francisco. He posted to his story on Instagram that he's in San Francisco. So he's getting ready for train. I mean, I've made this mistake before, so I don't want to speculate too much because the last time I talked about Debo coming back to the Bay, I forgot that there was a Warriors game going on and completely messed that one up because I was like, oh, Debo's back in the Bay around OTA time. I was like, oh, let's go. We got Debo. Debo's coming back to maybe chop it. No, he was back for the Warriors game. So I will be cautious of that. I'm not going to speculate to why Debo Samuel is in the Bay Area, but I would imagine it's because training camp's around the corner and we're trying to get that man paid. We're trying to get that man paid, trying to get that locked up, trying to put the drama behind us and move forward. And not even worry about it. Ooh, all pro Brandon Ayuk. Love that. Paul says we go 13-4 on the way to the Super Bowl. Sign me up. Sign me up. Oh, you've been waiting. Gav's been waiting for this. Gav has been waiting for this. Kyle Juszczyk is finally made a captain on the team. I wouldn't be surprised. Question to you guys. Do they make Trey Lance a captain? Do they make Trey Lance a captain? Also, too, I don't know if you guys recognized because it's I've noticed it's become a hot take depending on what marketing material Trey Lance has been a part of. Well, if you guys went and you bought training camp tickets, guess who's on the face of the training camp tickets? It's Trey Lance. So I know a lot of people have made a big deal about Trey Lance and the either lack of marketing material that he's been on. Well, guess what? I bought my training camp tickets. Trey Lance is on the front of every single one of them. So take that for what it's worth. But does Trey Lance become a captain? Do they name Trey Lance a captain? I think Kyle Juszczyk is deserving of a captain, though. I do. But hey, quarterbacks typically get that captain's patch. So we'll see. Oh, that's bold. Wonderland says O'Neal Jr. will play opposite of Ward. I do think, though, because we're still kind of talking about Leon O'Neal making the roster, and if he does, I think he gets playing time. Like, I don't know if he necessarily starts over Hufanga at this point, but if you're looking at a safety room of Ward, Odom, O'Neal, and Hufanga, I think O'Neal gets tons of playing time. He's going to play special teams. And we know, like we've seen it on multiple occasions, 49ers like to roll three safeties out there if they have three capable safeties. So it could be. Tony says Trey Lance finishes top 7 in passing yards and rushing yards for quarterbacks. Ooh, if he does that, you better draft him in fantasy because you're winning your fantasy league with those types of numbers, especially at the ADP you could get them. So if you believe that, you might want to get Trey Lance as a quarterback in fantasy because you could get great value on him right now. 49ers winning the Super Bowl 13-4. I mean, if the 40, so like this is why I think it's funny, like some people are so up in arms over the will Trey Lance be an MVP candidate? Not will he win MVP. Will be in the conversation. If the 49ers are going 13-4, I would assume he's in the conversation. So that's when we say range of outcome. A potential range of outcome. I'm not saying it's a likely outcome, but it could happen. Never say never. Scott says Ayuk and Lance have been working out together. That's worth a $5 bet. Yeah, absolutely. Throw your money on that, Brandon Ayuk. What is it? Plus 10,000 odds to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. This is a fire one, Joe. I like this bold take. He says 49ers are going to have 2 1,000-yard rushers. If the 49ers have 2 1,000 yards rushers, they're cooking everyone. That means they're running the football. That means the offense is operating as it should. Run first, predicated off play action, predicated off potentially zone read. Oh, that means if the 49ers have 2 1,000-yard rushers, we're hyped. We're lit. We're winning football games. That's what we're doing. So I like that one. Brunil says Trey throws for 3,500 yards, 32 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, rushes for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. This is a phenomenal prediction, to be honest. Am I tripping, Brunil? Do you do content? I think Brunil might do content for the 49ers, or does 49ers content. I'm not sure. I think you do. If you do, let me know in the chat so I can shout you out. But I do see you around here a bunch, so shout out Brunil anyways. But I like this. I think this is an extremely on point prediction. Like if you're getting 500 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns, I think that's within a realm of possibility for sure. 3,500 yards, to think just for reference point, I believe Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 3,800 yards last season. The 32-10 touchdown interception ratio feels accurate. Trey Lance is a pretty good decision maker. Obviously, the things that he needs to work on are a little bit more, I think, accuracy and timing related. But this feels safe. I feel safe with this prediction. Like I feel like it's actually, we could come back at the end of the year and be like, we could point to be like, Brunil hit this right on the head. What's more prestigious, All Pro or Pro Bowl? I felt Bosa got snubbed for Crosby. Oh, it's not even, in my opinion, Luis, it's not even up for debate. It's All Pro. If you're getting All Pro, like that's the real one. Pro Bowl is more of a popularity contest. A lot of times you'll see guys won't get into the Pro Bowl when they deserve to. They get in the next year because it takes like a year for it to settle in. And some, because it's voted on by a lot of fans, they have to be proven like in consecutive years that this person is worthy of the Pro Bowl. We've seen like Mitch Trubisky go to the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is definitely not as prestigious as All Pro. Like Mac Jones was a good rookie quarterback, but he was in the Pro Bowl last year. Like All Pro is definitely hands down much more prestigious, and Bosa 100% got snubbed. And we'll see how that translates into a little bit of motivation for Bosa moving forward. I'm pretty excited about that. Sergeant Bubbly says, my prediction is that this O-line is going to surprise everyone. I agree. I agree. Because, and again, we were kind of talking about it earlier with all the other things. I do believe that the 49ers are going to be capable of running the football. And if the 49ers are capable of running the football, then they're winning football games. And if the O-line can move bodies, again, running outside zone, inside zone, or mid zone, you add the threat of Trey Lance as an opportunity to run zone read and add him as a potential threat of a rusher, you can help the offensive line. You can really help. You can take a lot of pressure off the O-line. If Kyle's in his bag, you can aid the offensive line quite a bit. So I agree. That's why I agree with that. If the O-line and the 49ers are running the football, it's going to be a good time. Ayuk top 5 in receiving yards this season, calling it. Gmo says Bosa and Debo are getting locked up from a contract standpoint. Let's see what other ones we get. Less stacked boxes for the Niners have the number 1 rushing attack. Oh, man. If the 49ers are putting up the number 1 rushing attack again, expect to win football games. Again, if this team, my voice is getting all crazy, but if this team is doing that, then you have an elite defense on the other side. This team is winning games if they are the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. If that's what it is, get ready, guys. We're going to have a fun season. And I really hope that's what it comes down to. I really hope the emphasis is on the rushers. Again, if the 49ers are putting up this type of production, it's going to be a good time because the 49ers are going to be winning games. Tyrone says Trey Lance, 30-plus TD passes, 10 rushing touchdowns. 10 rushing touchdowns would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, Jimmy Ward gets an extension. Would love to see Jimmy Ward get an extension. I mean, he kind of hinted at potentially not getting an extension. So we'll see. Ooh, I like this one from Brian. Brian says George Kittle has his best year this year. I think that's in the range of outcome. I think George could go crazy. I think this is a big year for George. I think George has a lot to prove. Not just like for himself, like not to anyone else, like just for himself. I think he wants to prove some stuff this year. I think he wants to prove really like he's gotten the badge of honor as the best, but I still think he's got some stuff to prove. Smash them likes up. What are we at likes? What are we at with the like count today? Shout out all the 49ers, man. We're starting to get that hype going up. We're starting to see some new faces around the chat. You love to see it. Corey says Niners play Mahomes, Wilson, Herbert, Murray, and Carr this year. How many shootouts or comeback games is Lance in this year? This is a great question, and it's going to be up there. It's going to be up there. Like, I think, thankfully, the 49ers have a phenomenal defense, so the defense is going to play their part. But I think there's going to be a lot of close games. I think there's again, we talked about the kind of strategy behind it. Play keep away from these guys. All these quarterbacks right here play keep away. How do you play keep away? You run the football and you play stifling defense. So if the 49ers are running the football and running it successfully, the best way to get like on the other side of a shootout or win these games is to limit the opportunities that all these quarterbacks have at touching the football. That way it changes the dynamic of the way offenses are attacking. Because if you're rushing and scoring touchdowns and continuing to get stops on defense, that can quickly change the opposing offense's dynamic on how to attack this particular game plan. It would force them to kind of eject out of their game plan and try to keep pace because they know they have limited opportunities. So very excited. Very excited. I do think there will be shootouts, and I do think there will be comebacks. I'm going to go ahead and say probably about 4. I'll put the over-under at 4. It could go either way. But I say, minimum 4. Minimum 4 shootouts and or comebacks. I do think there's going to be a lot of close games and things like that. So we'll see. We'll definitely see what's going down. We're at 175. We could absolutely get to 200 likes before we're all said and done here. Let's get to 200. We got 200 in us. We can get to 200. Smash that like button. smash that like button. I like this one too. Ray McCloud has 3 kick returns for touchdowns. Very excited. Hendrick says, I'm late. Hopefully I didn't miss the special announcement. Our special announcement is we will have Mike McGlinchey with us for a live interview tomorrow. So I'm very excited to get Mike McGlinchey on. That we're getting a starter for the San Francisco 49ers on the show. Right now, he'll be the second. He'll be one of 2 starters that we're getting this week. So I'm going to announce the second starter that we're going to have on the show, I think on Wednesday. So as of right now, we have Mike McGlinchey joining us tomorrow at 1:30 to talk all things 49ers, talk health, how he's feeling, what he's been up to, all that good stuff. So really, really looking forward to that. That is going to be a lot of fun. So very happy about that. Oh, I got you. My guy says, Brad, what's your residency discount code? You already know the vibes. All you got to do is go to residency.com, use the promo code the SF9ers to get a little discount on your hat. And of course, it helps me as well. So really do appreciate that. My guy says, let's go, lurkers. Boast of that like button. Tell him, Smitty. Tell him. Breaking news, Niners Worldwide is the special announcement. So shout out everyone. Shout out all you guys. Very, very excited for what's in store, because it really feels like we got football right around the corner, because guess what? We do. We have football right around the corner. And it's going to be fantastic because we have training camp coming up. We're going to have some players on the lives. We are getting ready. We're getting ready. We're getting prepared. And before you know it, we're going to be talking about real football. We're not going to be talking about all these hypotheticals, all that stuff. Oh, let's go. Shout out Chris Royal. He says, getting my hat collection going because of you. Shout out Chris. Get all those residency caps because they are fire. You can see I got them all. I'm surrounded by residency at this point. But shout out Chris. Hawk Edits says, I will cry if the Niners lose to the Bears week 1. Hey, man, that's going to be a fun one. We're going to get some Trey Lance. We're going to finally get Trey Lance versus Justin Fields for all the pre-draft lovers out there who were in the mix with that. I'm very excited about that. Is this the Kobe? The Kobe? Let's see where we're at. 193. Oh, we got 7 lurkers out there. That can smash that like button. We would greatly appreciate it. You can see we're getting up there. So very excited about the content that we got coming for you guys. Trying very hard to continue to keep elevating the content, keep bringing as much content as we can. And now, like, I'm going to let you guys know, my off season's about to end. So we've been taking it, gingerly. We've been taking it a little gingerly, but oh boy. Whoo! Let's go. We hit 200. Shout out to SDS. Shout out to Bread Gang. Dropping SDS in the chat if you're rocking with the gang. Love it. Shout out all my workers and lurkers. We get it. You don't got to be in the chat. You can be lurking in the background. We appreciate you. We appreciate all our lurkers. Lurkers isn't a derogatory term, because if you're lurking, then you're listening to the content. We love it. but sometimes you need to pop in just one time, smash that like button. Look at all the SDS. It's a beautiful thing. We're gonna keep growing this year. I think we're to the moon this year with this group. I'm just saying. I'm just saying the SDS, man. This is gonna be our first full year. I think starting from start to finish with the SDS, and I think this community. I think this community's to the moon, baby. That bread gang, because you know the vibes. Like yeast, we rise, baby. So yeah, my guy says, if you're lurking, you're learning. Absolutely. Smash that like button. Shout out all the SDS. Shout out everyone vibing. We really do appreciate it. It's been a long season, been a long off season, I should say. Shout out all my proud lurkers. Uh, so it's been a ride. Jimmy Garoppolo's still on the roster, but we do believe the season will move forward with Trey Lance. And overall, just really excited to get football going. So, gonna be a good time. The SDS, you already see the vibes. You already see the vibes, man. You already see the vibes. So, SDS, just imagine after a fire dub, after some oh man, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I promise you. The SDS vibes are immaculate, and they're only going to continue to grow. The legend of the SDS is just beginning. So very excited. What's good? Insight. You already know the vibes. You already know the vibes. We to the moon. But let's see. We are going to wrap up here and get on the road. But again, be ready for tomorrow. We're going to have Mike McGlinchey on the show with us. Hopefully just to talk about how he's doing, how he feels, his outlook on the year, and of course, a bunch of other things. But really looking forward to getting Mike McGlinchey on the show. Again, you're starting right tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll have another starter again on the show this week. I'll announce that on Wednesday. And we're good to go, man. Really, really excited. Looking forward to tomorrow. Looking forward to getting Big Mike in with the SDS. You guys remember? You guys know the vibes. Show Big Mike some love. Always keep the vibes, keep the energy. Shout out all the mod squad. We're gonna need the mod squad big time tomorrow. But guess what? We're ready for the challenge, baby. This is how we try. This is how we work. All right. So shout out the mod squad. Shout out the SDS. Shout out everyone who's been vibing with the channel. We really do appreciate it. As always, your guys' support is phenomenal. So that's it for today. Appreciate all of you. I can't say it enough. Super excited to get this season underway. I might stop by for a little IG live. If you haven't got enough of this ginger beard, feel free to say what's up. Drop an SDS over there. But man, it's time. It's time. So appreciate all you guys. Smash that like button on your way out if you haven't already. Hit that sub button if you haven't already, and always hit the noties. That way you don't miss any of the fire content that we got coming your way. So again, y'all have a phenomenal Monday. One day closer. We are single-digit days away from training camp. It's here. It's time. It's time to get your football hats on, ladies and gentlemen, and start to get hyped because 49ers football is this close to being back, and I can't wait. Appreciate you all. I'm out of here. Later.